Hi puzzlers! Today I'm going to do a little challenge and I'm going to speed puzzle these three puzzles I have here. The first one will be this one, Epic Journey. The second one will be the Eye of the Glacier. And the third one will be the Peacock. I think these three puzzles are three of the most difficult puzzles from the Ravensburger catalog. These puzzles are from the German catalog. I'm not sure if they are available in every country, but from the German catalog I picked these three as three of the most difficult puzzles, and I want to see how fast I can speed puzzle those. And will I be able to finish one of those in less than 90 minutes? We'll start off with Epic Journey. So the first puzzle is done, like Epic Journey. This puzzle was not easy, but it was fun. I started off with the water part at the top. I also only puzzled the edge for this area at the beginning and then filled out the ocean areas. This blue part I found very easy and I was really quick at putting those pieces in. But then all the green parts of this kind of mountain-like area, that was really difficult. What I tried to do was I tried to go for these lighter green parts and try to pick out all those pieces. I also separated all the dark pieces from the lower left corner and put them at the side. So I knew that these pieces were there. And then I tried to put these lighter pieces together, and also then I did the edge of the green part as well, because I felt I needed some areas where I can try to connect these two to have a better orientation. Also easy to pick out was here this little part in the middle. I don't know, it looks a little bit like, not kind of flowers, but I don't know, some texture that's a bit lighter. And that's also easy to put together. So you pretty much have this middle and then you can try to go to the sides and try to finish those. So something you can try to help you go through the puzzle, sort out the darker part at the bottom at these pieces and have them aside. And also, with this top part, the pieces are a bit more clear, where at the bottom they are a bit more blurry. You can try to sort out these pieces and try to put them in, but it's still a little bit confusing. I finished the puzzle in 2 hours, 8 minutes and 17 seconds, which is quite a good time. in my opinion, because this is a more difficult puzzle and to only need a little over 2 hours is very good for me. And I definitely need to try to find better strategies for those puzzles that are very similar in texture, and how to be quicker at putting the pieces together. But yeah, that was the first one. Let's see how the next one goes. Second puzzle is done, Eye of the Glacier. And here you can see the puzzle. I really enjoyed this puzzle, and what I figured out while I was puzzling that, I much more enjoy puzzles that have a blue color instead of a green one. So the green is much more difficult for me to figure out than the blue. Somehow, even if there's a little gradient, I don't struggle too much with it. It's actually okay. For the Eye of the Glacier, what I did was sort out the edge again, but didn't start with the edge right away. Instead, I started with this lightest area. So that's a tactic I do a lot with more difficult puzzles, that I try to go for the lighter pieces and lighter areas first. So this middle was very easy to put together. And then you have the snow texture at the bottom. These pieces were also very easy to see in the pile, and so I picked those out. And then I also started to do the edge, because this is right at the bottom and it definitely helps, so you can directly connect the pieces there. And doing the edge, it's okay. I usually focus on the size of the puzzle pieces, so you can easily identify pieces that are bigger, and then you know, okay, those have to go together. And then I have like some rows, and then I try to put them together. So that works really well actually. So after I did the bottom part, I went for this top left corner, which is quite solid blue area with little to no texture, but that's what makes the pieces easy to pick out. And I found them also quite easy to put together. It wasn't too difficult for me. And then I was left with this kind of, I don't know, icy part here around the edge. So that was also difficult. That was the most difficult part of this puzzle to figure out. Here's a little darker area at the top. This was also not too difficult. I think I picked those pieces out quite early and put those together. But then this area around the middle, that was the most confusing one. And that was the one that took the longest in the end. So I finished the puzzle in 2 hours, 6 minutes and 33 seconds. So almost the same time as with the Epic Germany puzzle. So those two are quite similar in difficulty for me, and I'm really happy that I finished both in a little over 2 hours. So let's find out how I do with the Peacock puzzle. Alright, so I'm done with the Peacock puzzle. And let me tell you, that was definitely the most difficult one out of these 3 puzzles. Unfortunately, I messed up with starting the timer, so it didn't really record, but I looked at the time from the time lapse that I took, which was 2 hours and 44 minutes, and I just deducted 10 seconds. So I thought, okay, 5 seconds for starting the time lapse and sitting down and starting the puzzle, and then getting up and stopping the time lapse. So the time for this puzzle was around 2 hours, 34 minutes and 58 seconds. And that was definitely a challenge. The actual body of the bird in the middle, that is quite easy, and that's what I did in the beginning, obviously. And also this little green area where the feathers start is also easy to do. But then all these feathers and all these eyes, wow, that was confusing, especially the eyes. I must say it was much easier to do the feather part in between those areas than the actual eyes. They were just all over the place for me, and it was very difficult for me to figure out which piece goes where. So after finishing the body, I did the edge because I needed something where I can attach stuff to. And what I did is I started with this left corner here, because here the pieces are a lot clearer again and much more detailed, whereas at the other half the pieces are much more blurry. So that helps a little bit, that you can pick out the pieces that are clearer or more detailed and put to the other side all the pieces that are a bit more blurry. And here at this top, the area is also a bit darker, so I also tried to pick out those pieces, and I could put some of those together. But then, like I said, I had really a lot of trouble putting the pieces with the eyes inside. At some point, I tried to make a pile with all the pieces that had eyes on them, and I thought it would help me find the right pieces, but no, not really. I mean, they were all in one area, but it was still confusing to actually see the right pieces. So that is definitely the most difficult out of these 3 puzzles. So that was the speed puzzle challenge of puzzling 3 difficult Ravensburger puzzles. I hope you enjoyed all the time lapses, and yeah, you got some ideas how you can approach these kind of puzzles. And maybe you can write down in the comments which one of those do you think is the most difficult of these puzzles, and if you have done one of these before, what do you think about the puzzle? Or if you have done all of them or some of them, which one was the most difficult for you? So don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!